Hi there, and welcome back to 16 years and now kid free. My thoughts on the Peak District. Where do I start? Where do I start? Actually, I know where I start. I start with an apology. I must admit, all the time I've lived in the southeast, I've always gone up to North Wales or up to Scotland and that, because I didn't really think there was anything in between, and especially where the Peak District lays. Really did not think there was anything there, and by word have I been humbled time and time and time again ever since I stepped foot in Ashbourne on the some bit of the Peak District of Derbyshire in Derbyshire. I know a lot of it is in Derbyshire. Yeah, everybody has been nothing but kind to me. Yeah, I came up, I didn't realise, it was only because somebody else told me I should go across to Newark and then the southern part of the Peak District, because that's where Cromford is. So I looked on SatNav, searched around, saw Ashbourne, clicked on it, and that's where I went. Yeah, and then I went into Ashbourne. The architecture there was beautiful. Everybody knows I love architecture. I went around a few places, ended up in the George and the Dragon, and there was an elderly couple and their son there, and I asked them, where can I go to get out of the tourist trap, that I'm not going to get really priced out. And they said, oh, we know somewhere. You've got to meet a bloke called Derek up at Banky Farm campsite. So after that, I went along, I drove up the road. You all know the road that I'm talking about that goes out of Ashbourne. And yeah, I found Banky Farm campsite. And the people I met there have become such good friends of mine. I cannot believe it. Within 10, 15 minutes, I felt like I was part of the group, like I've been there my entire life. Absolutely entire life I've been there. And they just treated me like one of their own. I just couldn't believe it. Derek, Kane, Steve, all of you guys, I just, the happiness that you brought me. Within half an hour, I was having to walk out of the bar because they were making my jaw hurt so much, just so much through laughter. It was unreal. And every time I've gone back there, they were like, nah, don't worry about it. We'll sort you out. Something could be happy. It'll be absolutely brilliant. And it was every time. Even to the point that they said, nah, you're not going to leave. You're not going to leave. But it's a travel around the UK. And eventually I did have to leave. But before even then, they, wouldn't stop until they gave me 10 places to visit along in the Peak District. And boy, do these guys know how to be a tour guide. Whew, do they ever. They gave me, I went over to Cromford after that, the birthplace of the Industrial Revolution. Absolutely spectacular. And when I turned up there, what was everybody? Absolutely kind. I went over to the boat inn that's there just to get myself acclimated to the area. And because I was polite and held a door open for someone, the lady and gentleman that own the fish and chip kebab straight place that's there. Don't worry, I've got a message that's come up. It was there, took a liking to me, bought me a couple of drinks. I went over to the Bell Inn of Sir Richard Arkwright. I hope I got that name right, but I've been terrible with names up until then. They saw me again, and everybody knows when you're like, I need something to eat. So I said, oh, I'll go and get a kebab. And I went to go and get my kebab, and that lady and gentleman already bought it for me. How much can anybody not appreciate a place like that? It was just absolutely beautiful, and it touched my heart. All of the Peak District has touched my heart so much that I just cannot believe. And I ended up spending, I think, about 4 or 5, maybe 6 days doing this trip around the UK. Sense of time, days, everything else that's, is just gone out the window, I must admit. And even to that point, they said, no, you don't park up down there. You go and park down there. There's cameras down there, and we can keep an eye on you. We'll make sure you're safe. And then, yeah, I went out exploring around Cromford, up into the hills, got the true first taste of how beautiful the valleys, the hills, the tours are of the Peak District that made me just warm to it so much. Excuse me. So much. But yeah, And then I left that place, and no, I didn't leave that place. I went and visited Matlock and Bath, and Matlock, beautiful places. Again, can't believe it. People are always beautiful and open and always helpful. Yeah, and then after that, I came back. I went to Bakewell. I must admit, I wasn't feeling too well when I went to Bakewell, I must admit. And then I had the terrifying experience of near enough. Well, I didn't get pushed off the track, and the road fell away from me, was basically. But there's videos back to that, and I'm not going to go into that again. But the one thing that got into my head was the one place I wanted to go was back to Banky Farm campsite, because I knew them guys would be there and they'd be there for me. That's how beautiful. I come from so far southeast. On a clear day you can see France. Yeah, that's how southeast, and these people just took me in, and they always make me feel safe. So I ended up back there, stayed there for a little bit, and then I headed over to towards Leek, and I done the Roaches Hills. You might have seen my photos there of me doing the Pride Rock Simba moment from The Lion King, which was absolutely beautiful. That got me back into the feel of walking again and hiking and getting out there. It was just so beautiful. So I ended up spending 3-4 days there, just being around there, just feeling the place. You know, going into Leek. At one point I went, well, yeah, I was going across amazing passes in William, and yeah, I've learned today that, you know, take it a bit easier, because Williams brakes don't quite like going downhill too much, and I ended up fading the brakes out at one point. But even after that, where did I end up going? Back to Banking and Farm campsite. Back to the boys that are there, the guys are there, Julia that's there, absolutely. And when I turned up, I realised I ruined one of my tyres, and I asked Julie, can I, you know, please change my tyre and use the shower, and I've got to make a phone call, sorry for a shout. She's like, no, you get on with it. You get on with it. You got to do what you got to do. You got to do what you got to do. And how can I argue with that? And then after that, I said goodbye to them. They all signed my car. I must admit, I signed their cigarette, there's no smoking sign, which I'm not too sure if they've noticed yet, but they haven't said anything, or they just love it. There's my autograph from Garth. He's travelling around the UK. And then after that, I wanted to go and do some higher peaks, and one of the other places that they put on there was to go and see the Blue John mines. Only thing that I have, but it's the same as all of the UK, tourist traps are tourist traps. Lower your prices. If you check out on the videos that I've done earlier, you'll see somewhere that is absolutely beautiful that doesn't charge the earth to get in there, and it allows mum, dad, parents, sisters, everybody else to join together and go somewhere and experience that history. So, but on that note, I headed off to to Castleton, or Castleton, as I keep getting told off for, because there's no R in there. My southern accent for you, which again, albeit be a tourist trap, the walks around there are absolutely out of this world. Whether I was going up Mantor, and I chose to take the route off to the right that goes out of Castleton, and you go all the way through the peaks. Yeah, what I've nicknamed Groner's Hill, it is Groner's Hill, because you think you're coming close to Mantor, and then you come down that hill and you realise how far it is, and it is absolutely amazing after that. And the people that were there, it's slightly busy. What do you expect? I've done it on a Saturday. I come from a touristy area. That's what's happens there. But yeah, going up to Mantor, even to the point of seeing Mantor, and you've got Winnets Pass down one side. I thought, yes, I'll go up the other side, I'll come back around, and then of course I ended up coming down, I'm not too sure what it's called, but that dried up waterfall that was there. One of my scariest descents, because I didn't plan it or anything like that. But yeah, it was just absolutely beautiful. And even going up to the Derwent Dam and the Derwent Valley and going to the Derwent Reservoir, I still kept meeting more and more amazing people around these parts. You know, absolutely beautiful. If there's one message that I can give to everyone, is please visit the Peak District. If you've never visited it before and you have the same ideas as what I did at the start, and I apologise for, just go. You go for 1 day, you're in there for 3. I planned, 3-4 days to go around the Peak District to have a quick look at it. 3 weeks later, I finally left. Begrudgingly, I must admit, I finally left. But just, absolutely beautiful place. And I'm still missing out places because I went between Milldale and Dubdale and back again. And Steve was the one that told me from Banky Farm campsite, no, you don't go to Dubdale because that's where you have to pay for your parking and everybody's there. What you do is you go to Milldale, free parking, it's a lot quieter and you can walk all the way through to Dubdale, and by God, he was right. My word, was he right. Went down to Milldale. Fair enough, there's no internet reception or phone reception down there, but it makes you appreciate looking around and taking pictures of what's there rather than concentrating what's on your phone. When did ever this become the vernacular of a verbal and physical verbal use? But yeah, that's absolutely beautiful from the Neolithic caves. I didn't get to go across the stepping stones, but thanks to Steve, I wasn't sitting there queuing for ages to get across it. Yeah, the sights, even to Lover's Leap, it's beautiful again. I wasn't quite expecting that hill after doing a lot of flat walking, but that was so beautiful. The thing is, I feel that I'm missing bits out and I can't, I'm just drawing from everywhere that I want to, explain about the Peak District. It's just mind-blowing. The only sorry bit I must admit that I have is, 1, I didn't see the Blue Lagoon, and 2, I didn't go up to Kinder Scout. But Kinder Scout, that looked more busy than what Dubdale did, and there was easily ridiculous amounts of people there. Going across the stepping stones, there was like 80 people, 30's one side, 50 the other side, and they ended up blocking each other off. So I can imagine what it was like when you were going, up Kinder Scout. So I will do them again when I come back in, passing through, which I will, because I'll be going back to Banky Farm campsite at one point, shall I say, to go and meet up with them guys again, because like the Peak District, they have touched my heart, and I absolutely cannot believe how much the Peak District touched my heart. Sorry I had to leave, but here's a trip around the UK. I'm here now up in the edge of the Yorkshire Dales in Lancashire. I'm so terrible with getting that wrong. Yeah, I've been to a few places around here which you've seen the videos for, or might have seen the videos for that. But yeah, boys from Banky Farm campsite, if there's anything I've forgotten, message me, I'll put it on an extra video. But yeah, you want a place to stay. If you don't believe me about how beautiful the Peak District is and the people in the Peak District, is going to Banky Farm campsite, just outside of Ashbourne. Ashbourne is a lovely place as well. They're all treat you friendly and absolutely kind people. But go to that place. Go to Banky Farm campsite and you will see what I mean. There is a true friendshiphood there where they let you join in and let you smile and let you be yourself. They understand that tourists come in into their place and they welcome them. They absolutely welcome them into their, if not into their friendship, but into their family. There is nothing they wouldn't do for you. I could have parked my car there and wandered off, as Derek that owns it said, well, you're not here tomorrow, but if you park it up there, you go and do whatever you want to do. Come and enjoy this place. So yeah, I'm trying to remember anywhere that I've missed out. Sorry if I did. There's a few people I haven't mentioned, but you'll come across them. They're not from the Peak District or even from the local area. But yeah, everything else that's happened in the Peak District, just blast that out of the way. Just please go and experience the beauty of the Peak District, the absolute kindness and loving nature of people of the Peak District, because they are beautiful. It is beautiful, and I really cannot say much more than that, other than, like I always end out, take it easy guys, keep adventuring, and love you, bye.